Hello there, Aegis aficionados. Welcome to the final week of competition before playoffs. It is time to determine exactly who is going to be joining us in the postseason. Here on the stream, we will be witnessing the decider match in the Ascension Conference. This is a week one rematch between Shurima's 4th place Dorado Gaming Theta and Shurima's 5th place Conduit Allegation beaters. Both teams have struggled quite a bit this season, with the Dorado's only win coming in that week one matchup against Conduit, and the Allegation beaters still yet to get a match win on the board. My name is Crewman. I'm joined by the Spectacular Storm for the call. Last chance for Conduit. Storm. Will they finally be able to beat those Allegations?
I think they got a pretty good shot at it. I took a look at their rematch from that week one series, and Cab didn't have their full roster, right? They had Josh playing top lane. Who he does play top lane. That is his secondary role, but he is the ADC on this team and has been for most of the time. They had a sub mid, they had a and a sub ADC playing in that series. So they had a lot of people missing, and that series still did go to 3 games for Cab. So I think they have a pretty good shot this week at taking it to Dorado. I mean, Dorado's having a pretty rough go of it. They haven't won a game since week one, basically. They got that, the FF win, but that's all they've gotten. They've been O2'd by everyone else, whereas I think Conduit at least have gotten at least some game wins. They've taken some series to, 3 and stuff, so...
Yeah, they got that 1 game off of Dorado in week 1, and they also took 1 game off the Void Walkers in week number 5 that we technically almost had on stream.
Yeah.
Hopefully we do have all those tech issues solved tonight, guys. So optimistic about that. Hopefully I didn't just curse us. Go ahead and knock on my desk there. But we will be getting into a game 1 draft pretty soon here. Storm, looks like the Allegation beaters are going to be starting off on the red side. You're talking about how you feel like they do have a decent opportunity to actually get some revenge against Dorado Theta tonight. If you think that's going to happen, what any players in particular that you want us to be keeping an eye on as we load onto the red for this first one?
Yeah, so Flame, I think, should be a huge difference maker in the top lane for Conduit. He was in that 1 game that they did win on that week that we tried to stream them. Had an incredible Olaf game, right? Went 10-1-7 or something like that. Was just absolutely running the game over. So, and in those other games that we did see from them, they were picking some other high carries, that there's a Camille game in there and things like that. So I'm thinking Flame is definitely going to like being on this red side and giving this counter pick opportunity. They've certainly given them the draft resources, and we've seen at least 1 game win that he's been able to play with it. So I'm hoping we get to see a top carry as the top laner. Got to rep that on stream. Top lane counter pick matters, everyone. Yeah. Please give us red side round 5 counter pick.
A resident top laner here on the production team, all about those top lane carry angles. I will say I am really excited to see BR play again tonight as well. I thought BR on the both games 2 and 3, despite those were the games obviously the Allegation beaters did lose, played pretty well in both of those. But let's take a look at the roster now for Dorado Gaming Theta in the top lane. We've got Lemon in the jungle, hybrid carry. Jungler's been around for quite a long time. Mid lane, Tough Daddy. In the bot lane, Prey. And support is False.
Then over here for Conduit Allegation beaters, we have Flame, who I was highlighting in that top lane. Sourcewalker in the jungle, who also had a pretty fantastic game 1 as that Mundo. Midnight in mid lane, Jost at ADC, and BR at support.
Yeah. The Allegation beaters definitely were pretty competitive in that week 5 match against the Void Walkers. And they were obviously competitive, as we mentioned, against Dorado Theta in week number 1 as well. So we'll see what they're going to be able to get done tonight. For the side of Dorado Theta, I am kind of looking towards the mid lane, honestly. For their side, I think that Tough Daddy is kind of going to need to pop off tonight to really, give them the best possible chance of winning. But it's possibly going to be pretty difficult. I felt like Midnight for the side of Conduit did have a reasonably strong performance, from what we saw a couple of weeks ago as well. So we'll see how that goes. But into the draft now, guys, as you can see, an already very, very heavy jungle focus. The Master Yi going to be banned away from Sourcewalker, and then the Olaf denied, mostly from Flame, you have to imagine, who did play it a couple of weeks ago, as you did mention. Storm, then Pantheon and Nocturne also banned away on the Conduit side, as well as the Orianna and the Taliyah. Gonna round out this first ban phase. Ambessa taken by Dorado on B1.
Yeah, kind of a standard B1 pick, is very strong in both jungle and top lane. Not sure if both these players play it. Hopefully they do, because flex picks that aren't flexes kind of suck. But we should see this pick hopefully get saved a little bit later in the draft, and we get to see some sort of counter pick coming out for Dorado being able to flex that around. But Conduit, just going to take kind of the mid lane powerhouse, the champion you see in pretty much every game, I feel like, in Fearless series is Ahri. Just provides so much like really great skirmishing potential, pairs really well with a lot of different junglers, and it's just pretty flexible in team comps. Kind of the Corki almost of ADCs, just is generally good. You always want to see that. And there's going to be the Xin Zhao paired with it, not the most classic pairing, but still quite strong.
Yeah, definitely has some strong skirmishing power in the mid-jungle positions. I was kind of wondering if we were going to see the Vi come out. It would have been the more classic combination with the Ahri. But as you say, the Xin Zhao certainly not bad. They do share, they're going to spike at a similar point to, moving into the mid-game. So should give Conduit a lot of agency in terms of fighting around that mid-jungle duo. But let's see what Dorado Theta want to answer with. The Mel is seen pretty often into the Ahri, being the ability to reflect the charm, kind of being the key interaction is the word I'm looking for in this matchup. Yeah,
I just think Mel is a new champion in League of Legends, and as such has a lot of things in their kit that makes her very interesting to play and very frustrating to play against, I think would be the polite way of phrasing it. Offers a lot of wave clear for this team, something that is going to be great. Has some pretty good damage to pile on with this Ambessa dive. Corki, the kind of ADC you always want on your team, just is kind of always good. Like I mentioned, going to get locked in for Dorado as well. There's that Nami that might be of a response ban now for Cab, or something that they're going to have to look at in that support position. Or we'll see. Maybe they want to take something exciting here, or they can just match an ADC. We do have all of them up. Yunara is available. Poppy. Okay.
Interesting. So, of course, great answer into the Ambessa specifically. You can stop Valkyries from happening as well. Pretty surprising to go for the Poppy this early, but it does seem like a decent angle for it.
Yeah. Really hoping we do not see a Poppy ult get reflected by Mel.
Oh, that is something to look out for sure.
Yeah.
So now we do have some slightly mismatched picks here for the first phase of this draft. So Conduit going to be looking to ban away these supports. There is the Nami that you were just talking about, whereas for the side of Dorado, they are going to have the opportunity to ban away actually also potentially some supports. Maybe not as mismatched as I thought.
Yeah, I'm guessing this is probably Poppy support. I'm doubting. We don't see Poppy top lane all that often anymore. And then, Dorado, I think, just going to go after some ADCs. I think Ashe, I was kind of surprised we didn't see that. I was looking at both of these ADCs, that is basically their most played for both of them. They both share kind of a champion pool. They play a lot of Ashe, and they play a lot of Kai'Sa as well. So, wondering if that's going to come through here for the side of Cab. They kind of do have a really strong skirmishing comp, so I think that makes sense for them to take the Kai'Sa. Not a very great lane to have with the Poppy. Instead, gonna look to the Sivir, probably a much better lane.
Yeah, definitely. Should be able to farm pretty safely, at the very least, against the Corki.
And it kind of supports the rest of this team that's really skirmish heavy and wanting to kind of run forward and engage in things like that. I think it makes a lot of sense with their team. I think it's pretty good into the Mel and Ambessa as well, because they just kind of get hit by ricochets and die. There isn't the big movement outplays of them dodging the boomerangs and stuff, but there's the Braum coming through. Just always an incredible support, basically almost every time. I think this champion is I don't know if he's sleeper OP or whatever, because we still see him all the time, but I feel like you can slot Braum into 90% of all team comps and be I'm so glad we have Braum as our support.
Yeah, he's pretty based champion in general, I want to say. The Braum,
Yeah.
he feels like one of those champions that's just like well designed, feels satisfying to play, has clear strengths and weaknesses. So yeah, feels pretty good to see that there. Then the Scion is going to come through in the top lane, which does mean we're going to see that Ambessa into the jungle, which I think we were kind of expecting to see anyway. It is going to provide some additional front line here for the Corki and the Mel.
So I will say this is one of the few top matchups that Poppy is actually pretty good into as Scion, just because he kind of self-roots himself all the time with his Q and stuff like that. So you can apply those like Q2 hammer shocks to him. So we could get a different top laner or another flex in the Zehen. I'm guessing this is probably Poppy support though, right? So that we're seeing as Zehen support.
Probably not. Yeah, I'd be surprised if Conduit did want to go in that direction. I mean, BR was playing well before, but putting him on the Zehen feels like maybe not the most optimal use of resources there. So yeah, probably is going to be that Poppy support, which does feel a little bit not great into the Braum, I would say. But you have Sivir, you're not really trying to slam lane anyways, and the Poppy should provide a good amount of value later on. So what do we think about this Zehen pick into the Scion? Is it, in a sense, you're kind of able to just scale alongside him, right? We've seen similar answers to that in the past.
Yeah, I like the idea of it from Flame, of like you're picking something that's going to be really like powerful for the late game and like being able to give your team like an extra like true carry, right? You kind of had like a whole bunch of like skirmishing champions, but Joss was like going to be the majority of your damage, taking some extra damage. Something that's like fairly safe from like the really high burst that Dorado has as well, right? Their kind of whole team is like Rom Winters bite tag you into locking you up with Ambessa ult, the Noxian Guillotine, and then the Solar Snare and things like that, of just trying to get high burst onto one target. So I think the Zehen ult should offer a lot here. I'm just kind of worried of like the actual lane matchup into Scion. I don't think is probably all that good, because you don't have like a reliable way to stop his decimating smash, the Q. And Zehen is so bad, levels 1 to 3, kind of when Scion is like at his weakest in a lot of ways, right? And you can't really like force anything out from him. So I'm thinking Lemon is probably going to push a lot in this lane. And that's not really what I want to see out of my round 5 counter pick, is like the enemy top laner having push and things like that. So I'm not really a fan of this, to be honest with you. I also don't know if their team like is going to be able... I feel like Scion is just stacking armor this game. He doesn't really care about Ahri hitting him all that much, right? And Ahri does so much true damage with the Q2 of the Aura of Deception, like on the backtrack. So I feel like Scion is just going to go like Thornmail, Randuin's Ninja Tabby, and I'm really not worried about him dying that much. So I don't particularly like this pick from Conduit, but then again, I don't like playing Zehen either, so that could just be my caster bias.
Yeah. I mean, your whole sort of ideology of valuing the red side for these R5 counter picks, I feel like is a little bit opposed to this kind of counter pick, right? Where you're not really counter picking to like win the lane. You're not counter picking for the lane necessarily. You're just kind of... Because the Zehen, as you were kind of highlighted already, is similarly weak in the early game, similar to the Scion. So clearly the thought process here, I think, for the Allegation beaters is they just want the power of the Zehen, and they're feeling willing to pick it here because he's not really going to be punishable early game by the Scion. So I certainly think it can work, and I don't think that the side of Conduit necessarily needs priority in the top lane either, because they already have Ahri and Jin Zhao to kind of play through in the mid game, so it's not like they really need top priority for anything. So it feels... I'm certainly, I think, more of a fan of it than it sounds like you are. But we will see how it goes. Certainly the Scion, I think you had a great point there about the fact that the Scion kind of just gets to stack armor for free this game. That I think is going to be something that Conduit have to be pretty worried about. So we'll see, assuming that the top lane does go even, if Conduit are going to find a way to deal with this Scion later on. But the mid lane matchup is definitely the biggest one I think I'm going to be looking out for, given these drafts, and this is already kind of the matchup that I was most curious about before we even, got into this first champion select. So it's gonna come down. I do feel like Ahri is just really, really strong at the moment. So I think it's gonna be tough for the side of Tough Daddy. It's in the name. It's gonna be a tough time, but if he can actually keep a lid on that Ahri and give his Scion some time to scale and give his team some mid prio to play through, then that could be what Dorado needs.
Yeah, I think this game is close, and I am looking at the stats, and Zahen has a very good win rate into Scion, so this should be a good matchup for Flame in the top lane. I'm really excited to see I think the mid shoutout is quite good because there's a lot of roam potential from both supports towards the mid lane, the jungle as well, being able to get a lot of ganks early. I think that's where most of the early game jungle pathing, to me anyway, is going to be going towards. I can't imagine Xin Zhao and Ambessa are really going to be looking to gank a Poppy Sivir. That sounds miserable from the side of Dorado, and trying to gank Braum Corki also sounds like an exercise in futility, right? That just doesn't sound like it's going to happen. 3v3s, maybe you have a shot at winning something, but I feel like mid lane focus would be where I'm expecting most of this early game pathing to go towards. So should be really exciting. I think there's going to be a lot of skirmishing in this game. I don't think this game's going to go all that late. I'm kind of expecting this one to be around that 30-minute win. I think one of these teams can get a really big snowball with both these compositions.
What do you think it's going to be, Storm? Let's get your prediction for game one.
I'm going to go with Cab. I like their team for the most part. I think they have a lot of damage. I think Dorado's team needs a little bit more time to scale, and their points of power a little bit later in the draft, whereas I think Cab is the possibility of spiking sooner. So I'm going to go with Cab in the earlier game, in my eyes, composition.
Right, Conduit Allegation beaters with the Ahri Xin Zhao mid-game skirmishing power and the R5 Zahen answer into the Scion in the top lane. We'll see if they're going to be able to get their revenge, or if Dorado Theta are going to be able to repeat history and get themselves into the playoffs. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back with game number one. All right, everybody, welcome on to Summoner's Rift for our first game of the night. Dorado Gaming Theta on the blue side, Conduit Allegation Beaters on red. This best of 3 for playoffs. Season on the line for both of these teams tonight. See who's going to come away with the first Nexus.
Yeah, we can see both junglers starting on opposite sides of the map here. Sourcewalker, I think, kind of saying that he doesn't really want to be anywhere near the Zambessa in the early game, wants to try and get away from the 3v3 and try and get more kills. But some early trading down here in the bot lane. Joss has already got the bone plating away from False there, which is probably a pretty big win. So they should be able to trade harder if they want to. We could look for some sort of poppy charge, but it is Sivir level 1, so doubt there's going to be all that much action going on.
Yeah, especially with the jungler pathing away, as you mentioned as well. Yeah, you don't want to be trading too aggressively down there unless you know for sure you're going to be able to get the better end of it. There is another charge from BR. Going to get Prey into the wall that time. But you can see Pop taking a lot of damage on his way out. Oh yeah, good call out. Barrier is used. And level 2 looks like it is going to come through first for Joss and BR. But Prey and Falls backing away in time.
Yeah, I mean, even despite using barrier.
Oh, another charge. That could be it. Prey tries to flash away, but one more auto attack would do it. The Corki surviving on like 10 health will barely be able to get away. Does have to burn both summoners so early on in this lane.
Yeah, I mean,
a huge wave. Oh, look at BR wants to.
Oh. Yeah, I was about to say, I can't believe he didn't just die to a random ricochet there, right? It was so close to killing him. Oh, that's a nightmare start, actually. If you're Prey, that's like the worst possible thing that could have happened.
Yeah, definitely not great. It's going to be very, very far behind the Sivir early on, and you know, it's not like the Corki scales terribly, but yeah. He's definitely harder to pull off, I think, than the Sivir as we get later on in the game.
Yeah, Sivir late game is very much just pressing W on just anyone, like getting that ricochet damage off, and then just watching your damage numbers in a team fight go absolutely crazy. You have that spell shield as well. Makes team fighting and all the utility from on the hunt. So very much easier, I want to say, comparatively in some ways. Will say, not a fan of this Sivir skin. Feel like I got to deduct some points for that from Jost.
Yeah, what skin is that? I don't even recognize it, to be honest.
I think it's like the Warrior Queen or something Sivir.
Oh, is it like that? Isn't that like the OG Sivir skin?
Not quite the one you're thinking of. Okay, that's like Bandit Hunter or something.
Jaw's gonna get tagged by the Winter's Bite here. One more auto, not through. Never mind.
Yep. We can see both junglers now finish their first full clears. Going to be a little bit later there for Hybrid Carry, but is able to get that bot crab. See both crabs done here. There is a little bit of a gank window here for Sourcewalker, maybe if there was any sort of overcommit from Dorado, but instead just going to start clearing his Gromp, get that second clear started, get the cycle going.
Yeah, absolutely. So Hybrid Carry, like you said, just a few seconds behind. Going to be starting up his second clear now. And we'll see once the mid laners get level 6, then we're starting to talk more about some plays potentially getting set up. So Lemon is going down pretty low on this Scion. Both top laners do still have their teleports available if either one wants to go for a reset here in the near future.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised to see Zahan doing this well. I guess this is why he has such a higher win rate matchup and stuff. We haven't seen a lot of top lane, but just looks like, you know, his base damages are enough to kind of break through that Soul Furnace shield quite easily. So Sound isn't able to get that W2 damage off, which is so much of his actual like trading power in lane.
Yeah, definitely, especially in these like melee matchups, right? It really is just all about kind of getting the slow and walking up and getting the W explosion damage plus the grass proc for those really nice trades. But yeah, Flame able to fight back very well so far. You know, you were talking about in the draft, probably one of the main win conditions for the Allegation Beaters. If Flame with the counter pick is kind of able to pop off, definitely what we saw a couple of weeks ago in that match we've already brought up a couple of times.
Yeah. It's also kind of interesting to see from me here is Jost is just like using his spell shield here constantly on Prey's phosphorus bomb. So he's not like getting low, right? He's actually, you know, you get healed from that now as Sivir. So he's just constantly being like full health, not getting that kind of poke down damage that you always kind of get from Corki. So kind of an interesting way of playing the lane. Most of the time I see most silver players just kind of saving E as that get out of jail card, whereas very much more Joss just kind of using it.
We're going to see with that bot priority. Conduit looking to start up this dragon, but it seems like Dorado are pretty quickly able to assess that that is what's going on. And so now they're quickly trying to push this wave back out, but Joss and BR are going to move back down. Dragon temporarily abandoned. As we can see, Hybrid Carry is also in the area. Both mid laners also looking to roam down. I don't think top lane is what we need to be paying attention to right now. That seems not very relevant.
Directed camera says that's what we need to see. You can see the reset is coming in here for Hybrid Carry. Don't know if that was any sort of vision on that, but we do see Sourcewalker is starting this up. Probably going to be able to clear this then. Doesn't look like Dorado decided that they are going to contest. There is no vision currently on it, and there is those topside camps spawning for Hybrid. So just looking to get that cycle continuing. Wonder if we'll see any of the support rows, maybe for a grub fight or something along those lines. But I was expecting a lot more of a kind of skirmishing and fighting going on this early game. What about you, Crewman?
Well, I think Conduit definitely would have been more happy with the early skirmishing and fighting. So, you know, with that in mind, I think Dorado deciding to give up that dragon when they didn't really have the position for it is probably a pretty decent call from them. Definitely don't mind them just giving that one away.
Yeah, we do see the ambassador there. Hybrid able to steal away the chickens. Almost called them race yet again, but nope, chickens.
Razorbeaks would have known what you meant.
Yeah, Razorbeaks, I think, is the official name for them, I believe. But we do see Poppy is up here on the roam, looking for this grub fight, if it is going to happen, or just seeing if there's anything on the map. Looking for some vision here. Don't think they're going to really find anything here. And Lemon is so safe up here in the top lane that I doubt we're going to see anything coming through from BR here.
We did see Joss pick up a very, very early cull, so already has that one half completed, which is going to feel great for that Sivir. Going to be able to get towards that first item completion pretty snappy-like, I'd have to imagine. As the grubs looks like will be prioritized by Conduit immediately onto those grubs right as they spawn. If False is trying to rotate over here, but the first one at least is going to go over to Conduit uncontested. BR waiting on the off angle, going to charge on towards this Braum. He's going to be able to counterattack with concussive blows. A little bit of damage from Tough Daddy onto Midnight as well, as the Winter's Bite is going to get that tag onto the Ahri, but it's just Midnight and BR playing bodyguard in the river. Bought Sourcewalker all the time he needed to secure all three of those grubs. Ooh. And now they're diving forward onto False, and Midnight is going to be able to get the kill. The point-blank charm going to land onto Tough Daddy. So you got to fight between the junglers off on the side, but it is just the 1-for-0 in the mid lane as Midnight. Oh, the Golden Eclipse, the heal keeps the Poppy alive, but then the Mel is going to be able to get that one last Q to finish off BR. And it is, in the end, going to be a 1-for-1. Both mid laners picking up a kill flash for the Solar Snare, but it just goes wide.
Yeah, Midnight not even flashing, not even having the respect to do that. So big win for this Ahri here. It was also able to pick up that kill. Going to be both mid laners getting a little bit accelerated. It appears both of them are building towards Blackfire Torch here, I would believe. I guess it is still technically open for Midnight. They can go whatever they want, but that is that Blackfire Torch completed in the mid lane from Tough Daddy. Has that small CS lead and not having invested into those boots.
Yeah, definitely. Midnight opting in for the early Lucidity boots, delaying that first item completion, but could be really useful if the Ahri does find an opportunity to go for some roams. Hasn't really had the chance to do so quite yet. I mean, definitely nice that Midnight was able to kind of cover that grub take for Sourcewalker, but not finding too much value out of those Lucidity boots just yet.
Yep, and this is what I was going to kind of be worried about in the top lane. Like, Flame, sure, he's like winning and has like priority right now, but Sion and him are tied in CS. And if my Sion is tied with the enemy team's counterpick, I'm always very happy to be Sion in this. So hopefully we see Flame able to get some turret plates or something like that. You can see he hasn't even touched this tower in the top lane whatsoever.
Wrong, babe. You haven't touched your turret plates.
Yeah.
As Glacial Fish are going to come out in the bot lane. BR popping the steadfast presence for the movement speed, chunk down to about half. Is going to be able to get away. Jaws tagged by the Winter's Bite. Keep his verdict can come out. Very nice onto the Corki. And that is going to be the disengage from BR.
Yeah, and that's Prey burning Flash as well.
Hybrid carry, though, coming in on the angle. The Ambessa going to look for the public execution. Does find it onto BR, and Poppy, no W, no ult, no chance to survive that one. 2-1 now on the board for Dorado. The mid laner is coming down, and Sourcewalker here as well to potentially counterattack. It's a man advantage for Dorado. Sourcewalker is going to go in. They find the charm. They push back the Braum, who does have the unbreakable surprise for so long, and it's Sourcewalker who gets taken down. At least the trade back is there, but now Josh tries to flash away the spell shield on the Golden Eclipse, and underneath the tower goes Hybrid Carry, trades himself off for the Sivir. Absolute chaos in the bot lane. Does end up being a 2 for 2, I think, in the end.
Yeah,
3 for 2 actually is yeah, because BR had gone down as well.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting all that, but the clear winner coming out of this is Midnight has 3 kills now. All the kills for Conduit. That's a pretty huge win for them. You know, Hybrid was
here
able
as
to
well
get
to potentially counterattack. It's a man advantage for Dorado. Sourcewalker is going to go in. They find the charm. They push back the Braum, who does have the unbreakable surprise for so long, and it's Sourcewalker gets taken down. At least the trade back is there. But now Josh tries to flash away the spell shield on the Golden Eclipse, and underneath the tower
as well from
goes
Josh on that Golden Eclipse. Is that the name of the mill? Yep, got it. Was never an any out.
Right, BR, thankfully, not going to be hex flashing over that wall. Is going to be biding his time as our dragon timer is a little bit broken at the moment. Is it alive right now? I can't quite see. I think it is. Yep. It is indeed alive right now. So dragon is what we are posturing over at the moment. Looks like Conduit going to be able to retake some control here in the river. They retake the line brush. Clear out that control ward in the shallow jungle for Dorado. And giving over double dragon could be a little bit dangerous, but it is both Infernal Dragon and Hextech Dragon taken off the board. So could be one of the weaker souls that we end up looking at for this first game. And it looks like Dorado are going to be hoping for that, as they have made the call to give up this objective.
Yeah, you're just praying kind of as Conduit. I guess even Chemtech isn't that bad for your team, right? Because you do have the Zehen.
Mountain. But unlucky for Dorado Theta. Yeah, they're not going to be too happy to see that.
That's probably the worst one, I want to say. And Flame here, don't think he's going to get dove. Also would like to mention, I see that we are building Stridebreaker finally on Zehen. I've been talking about this for like super long, and I'm almost certain that this is the best build for this champion.
Flame really going to go in onto 2 with the Grim Deliverance there. Midnight on the reinforcements. Hybrid Carry trying to dash away, but taken down by this very fed Ahri, who does also find the charm onto Lennon, who does still have the ultimate, but will not need it. Is already close enough to the tower. A nice roam from Midnight, gets himself his 4th kill. 4-0 now on the Ahri.
Yeah,
and Sourcewalker going to find the knock up on a Tough Daddy, who does have flash, but I don't think there's anywhere you could flash that would save him. And Sourcewalker will take the kill. Conduit starting to open up a little bit of a lead. 1,000 gold plus the 2 dragons go in onto 2 with the Grim Deliverance there. Midnight on the reinforcements. Hybrid Carry trying to dash away, but taken down by this very fed Ahri, who does also find the charm onto Lennon, who does still have the ultimate, but will not.
Had his whole team coming, knew that that was a play that they could go for, so really great from them. Just getting just a little bit low down here, but Prey is as well. They are on that roam, so False and them were able to get some damage down, but no real threat of a dive here. Yuntal finished now for Sivir. You can see the Trinity Force is done for carry. Both ADCs pretty much on parity with one another.
Yeah, definitely. Looking pretty decisive so far for the side of Conduit. And now all eyes towards that 3rd dragon in about 3 minutes. We can see we got about a 500 gold lead in mid right now, and about 500 gold in the top lane as well. Slight lead for Conduit at the moment. And really, the dragons is what we're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Herald spawning, I believe, in just a couple of minutes here. Oh, there it is. So that is something as well, that if Conduit wanted to try and push this tempo, they can look for that play as well. They do have the top priority right now as well as mids. That is kind of a free objective for them, but they're just waiting to see if they can get a pick here. And there goes Midnight.
Yeah, looking for it on the Tough Daddy. He's holding on to Reflect. Holding it for so long, just has to flash away. And there is the reflected charm. He did manage to get the reflect in the end. Midnight gone very deep for this one. Tries to flash away from the Winter's Bite. Oh, BR saves the day, but Tough Daddy with a golden eclipse is going to be able to get that kill onto the Ahri, and just very low underneath this tower as the phosphorus bomb from Prey finishes off the Sivir, and Dorado coming right back into this one. It looks like Prey is going to be punished. Sourcewalker gets in there with the audacious charge and takes down the Corki. So number 2 for the Jin Zhao, 6-6 on the scoreboard.
Yeah, but that's a huge win just because for them, they got that Ahri shutdown, right? That was a big shutdown coming in for Tough Daddy. But
all right, 2v2 now near the Tri-Brush as the concussive blows doing some work, but there's just not enough damage here for Dorado. And so Sourcewalker and BR will be able to establish the vision control in the Tri-Brush in anticipation of that third dragon spawning.
Yeah, and we can see this, I don't know what the name of this armor item is, I'm going to be real with you, that is in Zahen's inventory, but this is, I believe, the Death Stance second, but here's BR coming in on Tough Daddy.
Yeah, Tough Daddy, no flash right now, does find a decent reflect. Keep himself safe enough for the time being. Doesn't have teleport, though. Should have enough time to get back into this lane. That's going to be first brick in the top lane, going over to Flame. Picks that one up for Conduit. Steel Sigil, I believe, is the name of that component item, by the way. For anyone who's curious.
No idea also why San has built Mercury treads. I'm going to be real with you. Seems crazy to me from Lemon.
Yeah, no, that doesn't seem quite right. I'm not a fan of that one either. But we'll see. We'll see if he's going to be able to use that extra bit of tenacity to position himself appropriately, as Hypercarry dashing forward is not quite going to be able to pin down Jost. But the Sivir and the Poppy both taking a little bit of a chunk there. Dragon's coming up very soon now.
Yeah,
the bot lane.
20 seconds, right? So we get this reset in hopefully sometime soon for Jost. They are, you know, kind of at 2/3 HP, that they have enough to stick around, but it's not a comfortable amount. And Sourcewalker might have to
face the line brush. Sourcewalker tagged by the Solar Snare, has to pop the Crescent Guard to stay alive. And Dorado now with a great position here in the river. Should be able to get themselves this dragon. Sourcewalker trying to fight this without the ultimate would be very
here
greedy.
Comes Flame. We need
here
TP.
Comes BR. The teleport in for the Scion is coming in, but Ball's in trouble. Really nice Glacial Fissure, but there's nobody around to help out the Braum. He is just going to get taken out by Midnight. And now 5v4 on the map for Conduit. Jost is not joined up with the team right now, though. Clearing out that wave in mid. So Listener going to tag onto the Zahen. Publication comes through as well, but Grim Deliverance buffers through it. And the side of Dorado just going to get absolutely destroyed in this fight. Conduit going to find 3 for nothing, and they will go to a very early Mountain Soul point.
Yeah, just kind of a rough setup there from Dorado. They committed so hard to that, but they didn't have Lemon on the same page. I guess he just assumed Flame was going to walk to top lane as well. But Flame making the smart macro play gives, this is what's happening. We're fighting over this dragon. This is the deciding point of the game. Just went for it and then able to transition that into that bot lane dive, get some more gold on himself. BR here, just being able to kind of keep himself alive and everything on the after.
And now 5v4 on the map for Conduit. Jost is not joined up with the team right now, though. Clearing out that wave in mid. So they're going to tag on to Zahen. Publication comes through as well, but Grim Deliverance buffers
Flame played this fight really well.
You can kind of see the thought process for Dorado as well, as they were obviously able to see that Sivir wasn't grouped up with the rest of Conduit. And they also did see that the Zahen was kind of like the isolated member in the 4-stack. So they were trying to go for a fast play onto the Zahen before Sivir could join. But unfortunately for them, the Zahen is just a little bit too tanky. They were not able to burst him down or even really get close to killing off that Zahen. And Flame with a really great buffer on the ultimate was able to make him pay for that attempted engage. And now we do see Conduit with a 5,000 gold lead plus the 3 dragons. They are in full control of game number 1.
Yeah, and Baron has spawned as well. Sivir Ricochet is going to start popping in this fight here in this tight corridor.
BR could be in a tough spot. Popping down to half. Has to flash away from the Glacial Fissure. Teleport in now from the Zahen. Once again, Grim Deliverance forward. Does find the pullback onto Tough Daddy, but they're not going to be able to finish off that Mel. Midnight does dash away from the queue, though. And so actually nobody going to be going down in that fight.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think if you're Conduit, you need to be forcing these fights all that much. You don't have teleport here from Flame. You're missing kind of the flash from BR to look for these like engages and stuff. I feel like they should just be playing for their soul that's spawning in 3 minutes and just kind of making sure that Dorado isn't somehow able to sneak any sort of Baron. But their Baron take must be so bad and so slow. They don't have like... They don't have anything. Muramana isn't done on Corky, right? So, long wait.
Oh, BR tagged by the Solar Snare. There's Public Execution as well. Onto the Poppy. He tries to charge. Keeper's Verdict is going to be interrupted, and the Golden Eclipse is going to be committed to take down BR. There is a nice pick for Dorado. Trying to claw themselves back into this game, and Tough Daddy is decently strong on this Mel.
Yeah, I mean, that should give them some time, right? That means that without BR on the map, that they're able to clear some of this vision. They'll be able to reestablish themselves a fighting line towards the Strike. But, you know, BR is going to be back up in just a couple of seconds here. So they're not really able to get anything off this play, right? Just some extra gold into their Mel's pocket. I hope that's some sort of completed item here from Tough Daddy, but not really seeing a lot else coming through for them soon.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The next dragon coming up in a couple of minutes. Mountain Soul going to be available for Conduit. Going to put Dorado in really, really difficult macro position. As Falls caught out in the jungle, the charm is going to land. The knockup is going to be there from the Jin Zhao, and it's a free kill for Jost. Actually, Siver's first of the game. As they continue to build up that lead once again, looking for the tier 1 in mid now. Prey and Hybrid Carry trying to defend as BR going underneath the turret, pushes them away. The structure will be claimed. Some additional control on the map as Conduit. It seems like they're considering a look towards the Baron here, but no, just going to channel the recalls and get ready for that soul fight.
Yeah, just trying to see if they can drag anyone and try and get someone into this fight. I am praying and hoping that Lemon is just going to abandon the side lane and just show up to this fight and walk ahead of his team and face check these brushes, because he really, really needs to. I don't even think even if Flame sits on the side lane and starts hitting your tier 2, it doesn't matter, man. Soul's the fight. That's where the game is ending. You are 0-0-0 on Scion. That is not how it's meant to be. Go join your team, get an unstoppable slot and start a fight up.
100% agree. It is a little bit sad for Lemon that he doesn't have that second item completed yet, but still, he is by far the tankiest member on his team. And so we'll be able to join up with them now. 30 seconds still until the Dragon Flame is committing to the push right now. Doesn't have the teleport. So Conduit might just be looking to give up this Dragon. They could threaten the trade for the Baron. That is why you don't want to give over 3 dragons, because then that puts you in this impossible macro state where there's just no winning outcome, no winning choice that you can make. You're going to have to give something up, as both side lanes getting pushed in right now by Conduit as well. They just own the entire map, as Dorado have to commit everything just to maintain control in that bot river.
Yeah, and we can see that there is just these two kind of members trying to finish it off. Midnight able to mine a whole bunch of plates as well. And this Dragon's still not dead. There's going to be a fight now after this.
It is going to be taken. The knockup is there on a Tough Daddy, though. In comes the Scion from the flank angle, and the Mel is still alive, still pelting everybody for now. Sourcewalker is going to go for the Crescent Guard as the Siver has been taken down, but Tough Daddy's been finished off from the back line as well. Sourcewalker finds the knockup, but the Ambessa still alive, dashing forward, takes down the Jin Zhao. BR with the Blast Cone, disengages from Hybrid Carry, and now Flame moving in, looking for the punish. Backstep on the Decimating Smash is very, very nice, as Midnight finds the charm over the wall, and Lemon is about to get flashback. Yeah, he's just gonna end up going down in the end. Yeah, it did not work out there. At least the Dragon Soul was delayed. Dorado did get themselves that Mountain Dragon, but it is 4 for 2 in the fight. Huge win for Conduit. They're able to extend their gold lead up to over 6K.
Yeah, just getting a whole bunch of money even before that fight started, as well as Conduit. Hybrid Carry at least able to take this Scuttle Crab here, and there is that Scryer's Ward on that Baron, so that we can see if that gets started. But yeah, you can see 2.8 almost. Yeah, 2.8k basically, so he's going to be able to complete probably another full item here as well. 10,000 gold here as well in the mid lane for Midnight, so should probably be towards his third item. Lots of big spikes coming in here for Conduit.
Yeah, I really think that Conduit could have just gone for a Baron start there instead of trying to move down to contest the dragon. Like, you could see the thought process is like they were trying to force the response out from Dorado in the side lanes, but Dorado just decided to give both of the inner towers to commit to the dragon take. And if that's the call, if Dorado are going to give up the entire... Oh, as Ari's maybe caught out here. Midnight does have the Spirit Rush, gets away from the public execution just barely. Able to sidestep that one. As Tough Daddy getting wrapped around on right now. Flame looking to see if he can chase down this Medarda. But Tough Daddy on the long walk back to see if he can join up with this team is actually going to be able to channel the Empowered Recall. He's got that mid lane quest.
Okay, I was a little worried there for Braum. False, little bit far forward for my liking, but able to be safe there. Wasn't able to get jumped on. There is enough Baron vision for the side of Dorado that they will know if Cap starts it. So it's fine right now for Dorado, but it's just that ever-looming threat of in another 2 minutes, your entire team must group and you must fight at this dragon or you might lose the game. And Flame sees that and is just able to get so much damage done on this side tower here. Look at the amount of AD this guy has. Oh, it's disgusting. And this is the build I think that is correct on Zehen. And I personally like using on him.
Yeah, seems pretty strong. 3-0 and 5 right now. That R5 pick working a treat, Storm. You weren't a fan of it, but Flame is making it look very, very good right now. Dragon, less than 2 minutes away now. Baron
and
started.
Oh, that's pretty big. You can see that Midnight as well does have his death cap completed, so there is a huge spike for him. Muramana is finished, and there is no IE yet in inventory or anywhere close to it for Jaws, but this looks like this is going to be yet. Yeah, it's free, right?
It's already down below half, and Dorado, they're just not taking any of this space yet. Finally, the Braum tries to move in, immediately gets charmed and yeeted away. Hybrid Carry not able to get even close to that pit in time. Baron taken by Conduit Allegation Beaters. Lemon isolated off on the side. The Scion might have to try to ult his way out of this one, but it's interrupted, and Lemon is just going to die for free. Meanwhile, Flame takes down Hybrid Carry, gets the revive. The zombie is not really able to do too much. It's the Baron plus 2 kills. Conduit Allegation Beaters poised and ready to take a game 1 victory.
Yeah, they should be able to get at least this tower here now as well. And after these resets, oh my god, they're going in.
Flame going in. Yeah, Tough Daddy with the Golden Eclipse gets nothing done at all. Sourcewalker underneath the tower with Prey, the last member alive, flashes away from the W. There's only the core key for about 15 seconds, it looks like, on Hybrid Carry. The mid inhibitor will fall. Will Conduit be able to end here? They've got the Baron empowered minions. They're moving towards the Nexus turrets. The Ambessa is about to come back, but will her Nexus still be alive? The Nexus turrets will be taken down. The Nexus exposed, and it's being focused down by Conduit as they take a 29-minute game 1 win.
Yeah, I was kind of predicting the early snowball win, and that's not really how I was expecting it. There was just a lot of good team fight and clean macro play on the side of Conduit coming out there.
Yeah, I mean, they looked really, really solid in this game. I mean, it was some good macro. They were able to really do a good job of taking those early dragons, of utilizing the priority they had in mid and bot to get those early objectives. And it was clean decisions down the stretch as well. They made no major mistakes, and they were just kind of able to play together and played this one pretty much out by the book.
Yeah, fantastic job to them. Do you have a game 1 player of the game personally?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky. I don't think anybody on the side of Conduit really completely took over or anything like that. It really did feel like just a good team effort and a good coordination between them. I'd probably say that Flame does have to be the front runner, though. I mean, 0 in the death column had the R5 counterpick opportunity, right? And it definitely felt like the Zahen got a good amount of value in this one.
Yeah, I'm down to give it to Flame. I think he played really well. You could kind of see that last team fight there, was able to dive in, kill someone, and got that Zahen revive from his passive there. So it was just an absolute force in the team fights. I like the Flame player of the game pick, so we'll have to see. I think we're just going to have a pretty short break, and then we should be getting into this game 2 draft here. There's the kind of thing coming up here. I think there's also like some other... Yeah. I think Midnight had a pretty great game as the Ahri there. They definitely played well. Kind of hard to say considering Tough Daddy, I think, was definitely the best player on the side of Dorado there. So that kind of takes away from Midnight's player of the game series a little bit. But other than that, I think we're just about ready to send it to a short break, unless you got something to add, Kerman.
No, it sounds fine to me, Storm. Yeah, definitely really solid showing from Conduit Allegation beaters here in game number 1. Dorado Theta, still, they've yet to pick up a single game victory since week 1 against this very team, and they have one more chance to try and make it happen. Storm, we'll be right back for a game 2 draft. See you there.
全マーケットは迅速な発送ですぐにお届けします。あ、ボクセット？
大丈夫？
でも直接来てくれたの？
これ
って
漫画みたいだったね。
しかも今衣装着てるし、花でもあれば完璧なのに。
完璧だよ。壊れ物だから自分で届けたかったんだ。
あなたって完璧。ありがとう、全マーケット。
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are jumping into Game 2. Champion Select between Dorado Gaming Theta and Conduit Allegation Beaters. Dorado Theta have chosen to move over to that red side Storm after taking a pretty decisive loss in game number 1. See what they can get with that counter pick.
Yeah, hopefully they can get something. I think Tough Daddy, had a pretty good series, so I'm hoping they're able to get something in the mid lane as well. Maybe get a bit of a more advantageous top lane position for themselves, but Conduit gonna take that Ashe, one of the ADCs I was highlighting that both of these players play a lot of. Kai'Sa, I think, is the other one that has a lot of games in between the two of them, so wouldn't be surprised if Dorado want to go for something like that. But you do have to be conscious, there is the ever-present Ashe Seraphine Wombo combo available for Conduit. So we'll see what's going to happen. Oh, the Seraphine gets taken away. Interesting. Yeah. Seraphine Jarvan. Okay, we're going Wombo combo on the side of Dorado.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that certainly was kind of the option that you're left with as Dorado in this position, is to deny the Ashe Seraphine. But it's not like Seraphine is the only good Ashe pairing, right? I mean, it's the strongest, I think, but it's not the only one that works. So we'll see if Dorado now are going to be able to find something to pair alongside that's going to make that Seraphine takeaway worthwhile. You know, already it can work well with the Jarvan, right? If you've got somebody trapped in the Cataclysm and you can layer the Seraphine ult on top of that. But the Mundo coming through for Conduit definitely feels pretty strong here. And they're going to go ahead and take the way as well.
Okay. Interesting. I think Hui is just generally, again, fairly flexible, right? That's the whole point of the champion anyway, but mostly plays like an artillery mage. I think it's kind of fair to say that's his kind of big strengths. I'm wondering what Dorado's going to take as their mid laner. Hui is weaker to actual artillery mages, things that can outrange him, but Dorado's going to go ahead and take kind of the OG Ashe Seraphine, the Misfortune Seraphine. Misfortune still has a slow in her E, make it rain, right? So you're able to still land those roots with the Seraphine E, which I'm sure has a fantastic name that I will look up when we get into break here.
Beat Drop.
Oh, it's Beat Drop, okay.
Definitely the Misfortune Seraphine, pretty common pairing as well. You know, it's something we actually did see at first stand, I believe. A couple of pro teams did bring out this response into the B1 Ashe. So we'll see how Dorado are going to be able to make that one work. Does feel like, you know, they've got the makings of a pretty nice Wombo team composition here, as you already mentioned, Storm, with that Jarvan Cataclysm kind of setting up for these other ultimates. So Conduit are going to ban away the Anivia, as they are looking to take some stuff away that would be good into their way, whereas Dorado are going to have the opportunity to ban away some supports here. They're going to go for a couple of hook options in the Thresh and the Nautilus getting taken off the table.
Yeah, just some things that make it harder for Misfortune to channel that Curse of the Sad bullet time. You know, hopefully we might see an Amumu somehow sneak through so that we get that, but doubt we will. But anyway, I'm guessing for Dorado's side, they're going to take some sort of kind of longer range mage. I think Vel'Koz would be a crazy good pick here if, you know, they play it. I doubt it. He's kind of a niche option. Instead, Aurora, probably better.
Yeah,
in a
probably
lot of
better.
respects.
Yeah, I would say so. We are, I will say, a little bit lacking in CC right now for Mundo. You know, you can kind of just like put him in a Cataclysm, and then he can't really go many places. That can work all right. You know, Seraphine's got a little bit of CC there, but for the most part, I feel like Mundo is going to have a dangerously easy time going, you know, to the places that he pleases in this one. Bard gonna come through for Conduit.
Go.
All right, BR, let's see it. Let's see the BR Bard. I'm ready. My eyeballs are ready.
I mean, this pick is also really good into Wombo, right? They throw down all their stuff. You throw down the Tempered Fate and negate it. Gonna take the Jack of all trades top laner. Generally is good every time in Renekton. I think this is a pretty solid draft here from Conduit. What has Dorado got to beat up the Crocodile? There's got to be a spicy pick of some kind here. You probably know it's coming. Everyone has their own pick they like in Renekton. What is it going to be?
You know, it's not it wouldn't be the spiciest Storm, but I would kind of love a Gnar right here. You've got the good matchup into the Renekton. You're going to be able to use that to complement the team fight wombo potential. Aatrox going to be the option instead. Doesn't Renekton win this matchup?
Yeah. Yeah, he does. I dislike this a lot.
Very curious.
I was going to say, it's something I've seen a lot of teams picking and losing is Cho'Gath. This is one of the Cho'Gath matchups I think is actually really, really good, is Cho and Renekton. And would have given this team a tank and given them like a little bit extra CC with all like the slows and stuff. It would have given them more potential, I think. I would have really liked that here from Lemon, but this is technically a skill matchup, right? The way Renekton wins this matchup is like by playing with PTA and Ignite and like indexing into early kills and stuff like that against the Aatrox. The issue is I think he can like afford to do that, right? He doesn't have to be like the carry for his team. He has a Mundo to like get the late game presence for his team. Bard as well, like generally builds Deadmans and stuff like that. Is kind of an off tank. Like Cab doesn't need Renekton to be like their big front line like tank and build Stairs Gauge and stuff. He can afford to go like a Bork build or something or do the Stridebreaker thing. So I really hate this Aatrox pick.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like something that would have hard countered the Renekton could have been one way to go about this, but honestly, I think another way to go about this that would have been perfectly fine would be to just pick like a pure tank and just frontline here for the side of Dorado. I mean, you have so much damage already. You have all these carries and something that can just kind of stand in front and take damage and be kind of that primary engage. So it's not entirely on the Jarvan. I feel like would have been really nice. Like the Cho'Gath you mentioned, I feel like would have worked fine for that as well. Yeah, the Aatrox feels like a lot of pressure that, you know, he's really putting on himself for the side of Lemon there. You know, it looks like his most played, so that does kind of explain it. Looks like, 65 games last season, but 50% win rate, so it's not like he dominates with it statistically. But it definitely, I mean, it's backs against the wall situation for Dorado Theta, right? So I in that sense, I understand going for comfort. And we'll just have to see if that comfort is going to be enough to allow him to win out in the matchup and be a difference maker in this game for Dorado.
Yeah, I mean, I don't got much else to say from this. I'm again more of a fan of Conduit and what they've done. Kind of Dorado kind of showed their cards with these first 3 picks, and Conduit a very, very strong disengage for most of their members. And just kind of a solid, kind of kited out team comp, and I think it's going to be hard for Dorado. The only real go button they have is the Jarvan combo into the follow-up off of Seraphine. So if that's able to get disengaged from or something, I think Dorado's going to have a really tough time, and I think Conduit are going to take this one 2-0 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Dorado has really just been struggling so much this season. Again, they haven't been able to buy a win since that week number 1 matchup against Conduit. But you know what you can buy, dear viewer, is any kind of product straight from Japan because of our amazing sponsor, Zen Market. It's your one-stop solution for buying products directly from Japan. They'll help you buy items from over 10,000 different shops, as well as place bids on auctions on your behalf. They'll consolidate all your items safely into one box and can ship internationally. They provide excellent customer service in 19 different languages. 19 languages, which is why Zen Market is trusted by over 2 million users worldwide. Check the panel below the stream or click the link in the chat to try them out. Now, if you sign up with promo code Aegis, you'll get 3,000 yen off all your first international shipping fee. 3,000 yen off your first international shipping fee, sorry. Also, if you decide to make a purchase on Zen Market, use code Aegis25, AEGIS25 to get 25% off your first purchase. Big thank you to Zen Market. And now we'll see if Dorado Gaming Theta can get us towards a game number 3. Don't go anywhere. All right, everybody, welcome onto the Rift for game number 2. Getting right into it here. Already a little over a minute into the game, as you can see, as we got a heavy trade in the bot lane. Electrocute procs onto Prey is just needing a couple more arrows. Misfortune down to about 100 HP. Will hold on to both summoners. So sorry about that. Delayed start, guys. Flame also very low in the top lane. Has to flash away from the Aatrox. Will barely survive with use of that summoner. There's level 2 for Lemon.
Okay, so I already hate what Flame is doing. Number one, we have not taken Ignite or PTA, and number 2, we took E at level 1. That sounds like the worst Renekton ability to take at level 1. I'm guessing there was some sort of invade or something that we missed there. You can see he now has that Q there, the Call of the Meek. You can get some of those, a little bit of healing and stuff.
Yeah, we actually have a very delayed clear here for hybrid carry as well. You can see he's only just finished his first camp. So I think you're right, Storm. There must have been some kind of level 1 that we missed out on. You see Sourcewalker is just about to finish off his second buff and is going to be into that river on time. I do like to see that the Jarvan did go for something early, but it does mean he's very far behind right now.
Yeah, and that feels really, really bad into Mundo. I'm sure everyone knows as they've played against this pick enough in solo queue as it's gotten more and more popular. He's one of like the fastest clears in the game, technically, if you've really optimized it and know how to do it. The one worry is generally if you're doing it, you get fairly low while doing it. But not so far, very healthy. Much faster on this, probably gonna have enough time to double scuttle. Instead, we're looking for an invade here.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the flash away actually from Flame in the top lane almost. Or sorry, it was the flash forward for Lemon, looking for that kill onto Flame, who had already used the flash earlier. But will not quite be able to find it. That blue buff, I believe, was actually stolen away by Sourcewalker, if I'm not mistaken. It's still only 4 camps for hybrid carry. I think the Mundo actually did steal that one away, and now is going to be able to get both Scuttle Crabs as well.
Oh, Jesus Christ, it's a disaster for hybrid. Okay, what do we have to look forward to as hybrid carry? We've based and we've gotten our 2 longswords, so that's nice, I guess. But his mid laner has already had to reset and burn the TP, whereas Midnight is still quite healthy here as well.
Whoa.
Flame getting just absolutely dunked on. Lemon showing why he picked this.
Oh my goodness.
Probably.
Oh, he's not dead, I guess.
Yeah.
He did manage to survive, just barely. But he's already used teleport. And he's sitting up there on a little under 300 HP, I think. So pretty dangerous spot for the Renekton.
Okay, hybrid coming in for the dive.
Yeah, here comes the Jarvan, but the flag and drag is going to be sidestepped. The stun under the tower. It's going to be a 1-for-1. And Sourcewalker is here for the cleanup. He finds the first briefcase onto Lemon, who doesn't have flash. The Aatrox is pretty strong in the early game, and Mundo is not. And Lemon is just going to turn it around on him. 2-0 on the Aatrox.
Okay. So I've identified the win condition now for Dorado. It's have our top laner absolutely smash their counter pick into the ground. What a play there that we saw. I mean, Sourcewalker as well. You should know this, bro. I know this is top lane. I think every Mundo top laner knows this. Playing against Aatrox's Mundo is absolute misery, basically, at every point. There's just nothing you can do. See, that Q3 just comes down and you're not able to dodge it, get out of the way, and you just get chunked so hard, especially from your passive proc going off as well. Nicely played by Lemon here. Gonna be able to buy that pickaxe. Almost has their boots completed as well. Okay, Flame able to get out of that one at least.
Has even a blue buff as well, so now the Aatrox not gonna have any mana problems. Finds the knock up onto Flame. Does find the slice and the dice and the death. Number 3 for Lemon, who is getting very, very fed.
Yeah. I'm surprised that we are breaking this freeze, if I'm being honest. I think that was a point where you could just take that freeze all the way to the bank with you, but instead, I guess, wants to push out and get some sort of reset here. Flame does have a very long walk back to this lane here, so isn't going to be able to get much of anything in regards to the push out. See Hybrid looking to get this invade off as well onto Sourcewalker's blue, who's currently doing that first dragon of the match. Is a Mountain Drake. It's probably the worst early dragon you can get, but still an early Drake to start that stack going again for Cab. Conduit getting that first one.
Yeah, they're going to feel pretty good about that at least. Have the power of B1 Ash. Get some priorities. Hybrid Carry greedily looking for that blue buff. Does have the flag and drive, but tagged by the Spiraling Despair, and Flame in there for the follow-up. It's going to be the kill over to Midnight, and that is going to be number 2 on the board for Conduit.
Yeah, does he have triple tonic there on the way to get that early kill? Is that what that glowing red was on him?
Oh, yeah, possibly. Yeah, he does have the Elixir of Force running right now on the way. You are absolutely right, Storm. Good eye.
But Lemon and Flame here going to trade ults here in the top lane, and that's a Q landing. Flame has to be careful, but does have a full Fury bar and flash up, so he can look for that flash W.
Crystal Arrow in the bot lane, going to connect on to Prey as the beat drop is going to miss, and the Briefgate lands onto the Pop Star. And Sourcewalker definitely got the better end of that contract negotiation. Going to be 2 quick kills in the bot lane as Conduit take the lead.
Yeah, just can see this top lane fight, right? Nothing really coming from it, but we can see on the map that huge roam down. The pings as well on Jarvan. They knew exactly where Hybrid was too. Oh, that's just feels so awful for Prey and False. There's nothing you could do there. And they burned both of their summoners, and False burning both of his summoners anyway. Prey able to keep his. False at least is going to be able to clear this ward out so that they know that Hybrid can get some sort of advantage maybe. But man, Flame starting to get some of these trades better as well. We haven't completed anything yet on Aatrox, right? Despite all these extra kills, they've just gone into stats.
Ooh,
so far.
Flashing for the Q3. Flame has to flash away from the chains. All right, Lemon. Yeah, I feel like he was kind of identifying the same thing that you just did. Is like, oh, this Renekton is getting some good trades. You need to put a stop to this immediately. As BR in with the Magical Journey. Doesn't get the stun with the binding, though. And here comes Hybrid Carry as well. Lemon trying to look back in, actually, with that Q3. Cataclysm going to be committed onto BR. Aatrox doesn't have the easiest time following up, but still BR has to flash away from the Umbral Chain. Now Sourcewalker in the vicinity, but we do have Jost very alone underneath this bot tier 1. He's going to be able to clear up this minion wave for the most part. Miss out on a couple of last hits there, but still a slight CS lead over Prey.
Yeah, False not level 6 yet here, doesn't have access to the Encore, so no dive really available with Prey here. That's just ticked over now, so I wouldn't be shocked to see if Jost plays a little bit safer maybe towards this wave. And okay.
Drop is going to miss. This is looking like another neutral objective for Sourcewalker. Looking to take away all 3 of those grubs right now. As Enchanted Crystal Arrow coming through once again, but the follow-up is not here this time. Josh just wanted to send a message. Say it, I can hit those. And False is like, okay, yep. I'll remember that. Message received.
Oh, what a trade
Flame
here
pulled back by the chains, pops the Dominus. Lemon into the World Ender as well as the top laners. Might be going to the death here. No, Flame doesn't want to go to the death. He just wants to go underneath his tower. And it will manage to get there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure both of them are building towards the Sundered Sky here as well. Just taking that little bit of a stop off here to grab those early
flashing forward, looking for the angle, but Hybrid Carry was waiting in the bush. Finds the knock up onto Joss. They immediately take down the Ash, but the misfortune is traded back. Sourcewalker charging forward now, but it's Midnight who has to flash away. Tough Daddy, though, he does have the flash. Can he get over the thick wall? The pullback and the flash into the death. The Tough Daddy, no.
Bro, I'm sorry. That flash was nowhere near that wall. What the hell was that, man?
He wanted to try to get the kill onto Midnight, but it just...
Yeah,
wasn't
we can see this
out.
replay here. Hybrid Carry just getting that assassination onto Joss through the barrier and the flash from this Ash, but we can see Tough Daddy just getting that little bit of extra and looking for it.
So
but
in
we're back to life.
BR has just been taken down by False as the Bard was very deep in the enemy jungle looking to bother Hybrid Carry.
Okay.
And he's going to pay for that one with his life.
I don't really know why maybe we're doing that, but
I'm entirely sure either. We did get some nice deep wards down.
oh, there's a win. And
Yeah.
Josh getting some mid lane pressure here as well, but there
You know what else is
some
win?
people coming in. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll see what is going to happen with this fight as Source Walker's going to move into the line brush, help clear out this vision. Hybrid Carry waiting in a bush once again, spotted out by the Scryer's Bloom. Cosmic Binding not going to land. But Hybrid Carry, notably not farming right now, has half of Mundo's CS. Just wanted to point that out.
Oh dear God.
Source Walker is now going to walk into the bush. The binding is going to be beautiful onto 2. The arrow for the follow-up. And Dorado are just going to be absolutely destroyed. Lemon has teleported in. It has to be the Aatrox. Lemon has to be the one to do it. The chase you pull back on the boss, but the fear is there from Midnight. Lemon is getting so much healing. He's living for so long, but he doesn't have a Team Storm because they were already dead. 3 for nothing. Conduit Allegation beaters in the bot side river. They're going to get their second dragon as well.
Yeah, and I think if Lemon hadn't TP'd in there, then Prey would have died. We saw that magical journey plus that Bard ult used on him, getting him over the wall and was able to follow up, but his whole team had to peel back and go for the Omega level threat in this Aatrox. It is Shojin first here from Aatrox, not that Sundered Sky, so didn't have those extra huge heal procs that we see a lot of. You know, Aatrox is rushing for that reason. This is very much an item.
Flash encore. It's encore time in the bot lane. Midnight, he's just still alive. It's just not enough damage. Eventually it will be. The shutdown is going to go over to Prey, and BR is only going to be here to find a stun and the endo, but it's going to be a root actually from the Seraphine, and the high note's not going to land. So the Bard will survive. Nice shutdown for Prey. He is first in the game. That was a lot of gold, as Midnight was previously 5-0.
I have also no idea what Prey is building. We have the makings of an Infinity Edge Rush, which we all know is not correct, but normally we see, you know, like Bloodthirster Rush on Misfortune is like pretty common, but no idea. No idea what we're building currently.
Bloodthirster
it's
probably
obviously
a good shout.
Not lethality, right?
There it is.
It is Bloodthirster. Okay. It does have a pickaxe in it. Did not know that.
Yeah. BF Sword, Pickaxe, Vamp Scepter. Build for that one.
Cool.
And so let's see now. We do have Hextech Soul this game, Storm. And Conduit have the first 2 dragons. So they're in an incredibly good position right now, I would say, in this game. Even with Lemon getting all those early kills, the Aatrox, don't know if he's actually going to be able to carry this one. As Prey and False kind of getting corralled underneath their tower right now. Source Walker is kind of moving menacingly in the area. No Midnight this time. That's what the Gromp is the only thing that Conduit were after this time around.
Yeah, and it's really rare we see that getting your like Flame Horizon almost in the jungle. It sort of feels that way. It's not like anywhere near 100, but it's double basically here. Like you had pointed out for Source Walker on this Mundo. That's just, that's a disgusting lead.
Yeah, it's quite large, the lead.
Yeah.
I mean, Hybrid Carry, you kind of have to... You're never going to actually be able to keep pace with the Mundo, right? So if you're actually just trying to farm evenly against the Mundo, like that is never a winning proposition. As False finds the Encore onto the Ash, and the Tempered Fate is actually really nice from BR. He puts down the Magical Journey, and Dross is just not going to take it. He's going to elect to die instead. In comes Source Walker, though, is looking to get this kill on the Seraphine.
Ignores everyone and just gets on the False.
Where is it going to be? The Seraphine is barely going to survive the maximum dosage for Source Walker. He's trying to walk this one off, but the Between Worlds coming out. The Euro combo is going to miss, but the bullet will not shut down again for Prey. You up to 3 kills on the Misfortune.
Okay, so we're grouping and we're using our giant ultimates and we're killing people with them. So it's going great for Dorado here. They should have everything important up as well before this dragon that happens in 2 minutes. So I'm really liking this. We're also buying time for Aatrox to be in this 1v1. He's actually started... Oh, he was looking at Scuttle. I thought he started Herald there. Okay. That's going to go over, but that's not a big deal. But anyway, Lemon getting time to keep that top lane lead that he had built for himself as well. We can see Flame and him are on similar items. Having all that time to mine turret plates when Lemon TP down there, kind of erasing that lead. And we'll have to see if Lemon's able to keep that himself here.
I do think Midnight getting that first turret here in the mid lane was actually really big. That's going to open up so much more space on the map for Conduit as they look for this third dragon setup. About a minute away now. They need to see these teams starting to group towards that bottom side. I mean, I guess Conduit do have a little bit more freedom if they want to try to look for a play onto Lemon instead. But they're okay. They're actually going to look for the Rift Herald, it looks like. So they will have time to take this before the dragon spawns, but they're not really going to have any kind of setup for the dragon. Maybe they could use the Herald to kind of brute force their way in. As Flame's just going to mark Lemon right now, just trading with the Aatrox very aggressively. The binding is going to be sidestepped very nicely by Lemon, who will be able to pick up this minion waves. The Herald does go over, and actually, Sourcewalker are able to take that one very, very quickly. And they are going to fully commit to this topside play. They're going to fully commit to trying to punish Lemon, who does try to dash away. The briefcase not going to land for Sourcewalker, but the Heartsteel proc does so much damage. Now, finally, the World Ender comes out, but the binding was there. Lemon getting a little bit of health back from the passive. Sourcewalker not going to be able to finish off that Aatrox. The tier 1 in the top lane will be taken down. The charge in the tier 2, but it's Dross alone in the mid lane, has to flash out of that Cataclysm. It's a couple of big olds committed. Tough Daddy coming in as well. And then Chakra is going to miss, but the Weirding will not. But the pullback, the CC onto the Aurora's Midnight, able to make that a 1-for-1. But the mid turret is going to be taken by Dorado. The Flag and Drag is interrupted by the Fear beautifully by Midnight. The bullet time does come out. It is the way down to about half health. The inner turret in the top lane, I believe, was taken. BR now on the rotation. Yeah. And the back going to be interrupted.
Lemon be able to pick a kill up here?
He doesn't have ult, and Flame does. Will he decide to go for the Dominus? I think he just wants to try to run, but he might have to die. He has to flash in the end. And it's going to be Lemon on the flash follow-up of the Dragon. Started up by Dorado, but it's going to be Sourcewalker in the pit. A flip for the Dragon, and the Mundo takes it and gets his team to Soul Point. The knockup is there from Hybrid Carry. It's going to keep False alive for now, who does find the B-Trap, but the Mundo is just not going down. Tough Daddy does come in, but he's not in time to save the support. Sourcewalker refusing to die. He has a blast cone. He's buying such a ridiculous amount of time. He will eventually be taken down, but it's going to be the Fear onto Lemon. Dross not going to get hit by the chains. It is going to be a 1-for-1 in the very extended fight, but it is going to be Dragon number 3 for the Allegation beaters.
I mean, just that third dragon going down means it is a freaking disaster for Dorado. I mean, on the bright side, they're the team that wants to group up and look for these huge team fights with their wombo combo and things like that. But at the same time, this is just really, really rough because they are at the point where they must win every single team fight for the rest of this game. Here comes an arrow.
The long range arrow connecting onto Tough Daddy, and he is just gone. Beautifully set up by Jost.
Yeah, and that is 3.5 items on Hui compared to 1 from Tough Daddy. So there's a lot of people in this game that are just falling crazy far behind one another.
Yeah, and this Aatrox was kind of the hope, right? As Lemon had 3 kills at 3 minutes, and he just hasn't really been able to find anything since.
Yeah, hard to play the game when you don't have a lot of people that are melee into you, right? As Aatrox, there's not a lot of people to heal off of except this Mundo. And we've seen Sourcewalker, and he seems to have decided that the safest place to be to avoid this Aatrox is sitting on top of Pulse and Prey's face.
Yes, that is working pretty well for the Mundo, you'd have to say.
Yeah. Even has the glowing moat power spike in inventory.
Oh, Lemon base checks away in a Bard, and that is going to work actually extremely well for the way in the Bard. As Midnight finding that nice Fear. Big chunk onto the Aatrox. Lemon forced to use the World Ender and run for the hills.
Yeah, and I'm kind of interested to see that this matchup is still continuing.
Arrow again from Draw. Looking to set up a Hybrid Carry on the counter attack. The Encore comes out over the top. It's the Encore Clasm combo, but it's not enough to keep False alive. Flashing forward as Hybrid Carry needs one more auto attack, and he will not find it. Midnight comes in with the Fear, and Tough Daddy gonna get solo killed in the bot lane. It's 3-0. Overall, Conduit Allegation beaters are beaten more than the Allegations in this one.
Yeah. So what I was about
They're
to say,
beating
okay,
Dorado.
we're getting into this
You did,
replay here. We can see that Bard ult, the Tempered Fate, just blocking the MF ult. Prey never even got the chance to channel the bullet time before Mundo just ran them down and had to flash under his own tier 2 to get away from the briefcase man.
And Midnight or Prey just died underneath his mid inner in live, by the way. Just to damage from Midnight, who is extremely fed on this way. And now they will take the turret as well. Bot lane inner going to take a big old beating here from the Crocodile as well. Dragon Soul in 90-second storm, and it looks like that is probably where Dorado's season is going to end, if I had to guess.
Yeah, they're obviously going to fight for it, but don't think it's going to go all that well. They don't have a 2-item spike on pretty much anyone other than their misfortune. Oh, there we go. We got 2 items for false too.
Yeah, the LDR done now. Gonna give him a little bit of a better chance to take down Source Walker, but Mundo is looking pretty large and in charge right now.
Yep. No anti-heal on the enemy team so far.
Oh, yeah, that's rough. That's rough. Oh, the blue buff. Oh my god, he's even gonna take the blue buff. Oh, it actually is smote away by Hybrid Carry. But has to immediately vacate the area afterwards, as False does sidestep the arrow this time.
Okay, that's good, but we have 35 seconds basically now till Dragon spawns. Don't really know how we're going to play through this. Flame looking for Tough Daddy here.
Yeah, looking, just gets the flash out from the Aurora for free. Hybrid Carry going deep. The flash out, though, for Midnight. Keeps himself alive, and that Jarvan is immediately going to get taken down. A Source Walker right on top of the bot lane once again. Lemon trying to make something happen here, but he's just kited out by the Ashe in the way. Impossible for the Aatrox to play there. You called it out earlier. And Tough Daddy's going to go between the worlds and found himself in a world that he really didn't want to be in. It's going to be False and Prey, the last couple to go down. 5 for 1 in the fight. Conduit Allegation beaters absolutely decimate Dorado Theta in this decider best of 3. They don't even need the soul, I don't think, Storm. They're already pushing into the base. Hybrid Carry is alive in 5 seconds, so I think they will be denied the Nexus in the immediate future, but
yeah, there's just not a lot for this. We can see that Dragon Soul is getting taken by Source Walker as well. There's Hextech Soul, and if that wasn't lights out already, it certainly is now. I think it's pretty safe to say it's been well played by most of Cab this game. You know, Conduit playing pretty well. Flame not really having the greatest laning phase, but has been solid. Hasn't died since those first 3 initial kills were taken on him, and it's just been the Crocodile. Been looking and getting some picks onto Tough Daddy and things, who's had a really tough time finding his footing this game.
good one, Storm. A little bit BM to kick them when they're down, but I do appreciate the wordplay as always. And yeah, I do agree. Conduit Allegation beaters really looking like they're coming into form at the right time. You know, ramping up over the course of the season. You always love to see when teams are kind of able to improve over the course of a season and kind of, you know, fix up those weaknesses, identify how they want to play the game. Feels like Conduit Allegation beaters really, really on point in this match at the very least, as they find another arrow onto Dorado, Theta, and Source Walker right into the thick of things. Tempered Fate onto 3 members as well. Tough Daddy trying to create some disruption on the backline. The bullet time is actually pretty good. Cataclysm coming out there as well, as the Way has been taken down. They're going to find this kill onto the Ashe as well, but Source Walker is just unstoppable. He just is too large. He's too big. Storm Hybrid Carry is going to try to flash away. It's a 2 versus 2 now, as Hybrid and Tough Daddy up against Source Walker and Flame. Flame going to be able to get on top of this Bunny Rabbit. Who wins in real life, Storm? Is it Crocodile or Bunny Rabbit in the 1 versus 1?
I think it would probably have to be the Crocodile. Has a lot more evolutionary traits, been around a lot longer as well, right? Crocodile's older than trees.
No, I think that does make some sense, and I'm glad to see that was represented in the game as well. Crocodile did manage to come out on top. And what about Crocodile versus extremely large purple snake with 3 mouths?
I don't know if I think crocodiles don't touch snakes, and we can see Flame deciding, I don't want anything to do with this giant worm, and his Elder Lich worm, and flees over the wall. I think that's fair too. I would probably run away from Baron if I ever saw it.
Oh, just in from production, anacondas do eat caimans, which I guess is another word for like large. Are crocodiles amphibians or reptiles? They're reptiles, right?
Reptiles. Yeah. They're cold-blooded.
Is a name for like a kind of reptile macros? I'm not familiar with the term.
Okay.
Caimans, crocodilians that live in the Amazon. Okay. Yeah, and that obviously the natural habitat for anacondas, so that makes quite a bit of sense. Anyways, the Baron was taken there. And Lemon is going to get taken as well. Does find a nice little bit of damage onto Jost. It looks like it's going to go down as well. Flash into death there for the Ashe. Binding pretty nice onto 2. Encore does come out onto the Mundo. Sourcewalker going pretty low here. Does have the maximum dosage. The bullet time over the top. Not enough. The Mundo lives the Severing Bolt to finish off the Jarvan. And
he's not
that, I mean, is about as good as Dorado could have hoped for. But they still lose out 2 for 1. In favor of Conduit.
I'm just going to say that also wasn't rank 3 maximum dosage, which gives you that extra huge benefit of the more healing, the more people are around you. That was only level 15 when Sourcewalker popped that, and he still lived. So it's just going to get worse.
We also saw their Tough Daddy not living.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get a replay of that fight. I mean, I can kind of... Okay, we are going to get the replay after all.
Yeah, so we can see there, it starts off there. Joss does go down, but Sourcewalker is level 15, walks in 4 people of the enemy team, presses W to get that little bit of shielding, and is just able to live through his ult there. Hybrid carry goes down to that Severing Bolt, and the rest of the team just gets run down.
Looking for this bot lane inhibitor now. Sourcewalker is going to get knocked up by the Jarvan combo, but he's still really struggling to take any damage as the minion wave does come in. Beat drop onto the crocodile, or the caiman, as we just learned a moment ago. As the siege continues for Conduit. Got this tier 3 turret down to a couple of hundred. Flame's going to die. Or is false, I'm sorry. Die Flame, very much not dead. Is moving forward threateningly, menacingly. The inhibitor will be destroyed. The Nexus turrets in the sights for Conduit. They can taste the playoffs. They were 5th seed with their backs against the wall 2 weeks in a row. Hybrid carry not going to be able to stop them. The last few kills going to be coming through. Conduit, they will beat the Allegations, and they will establish themselves as a postseason squad.
Yeah. Conduit saying Allegations be damned. We are a team that is good enough. They're taking out Dorado, who have been a big name in Amateur League of Legends. Great to see a win from them. Pretty clean 2-0. Will say there wasn't a lot that I felt that they weren't in control. You know, we were a little bit worried when we saw Aatrox get 3 kills in 3 minutes, or at least I was. I think you were too, as fair to say. We kind of identified that was the win condition, but nothing, it didn't get any better for them. Nothing really happened. Just pretty solid play overall from Conduit. Good job from Flame for kind of sticking it out and not tilting off the face of the earth. Getting camped is no fun, but kept it solid through that game. But I'm pretty sure Sourcewalker's the POG. That Mundo was disgusting.
He was very large and pretty much in charge as well. I think BR had a pretty nice game on the Bard, had some pretty nice ultimates. Jost hit a couple of really nice arrows as well. But Sourcewalker, did actually top out the damage charts on that Mundo, as we can see. Pretty tough to argue with that performance. Had that nice steal on that 3rd dragon as well that allowed his team to keep accelerating towards the Hextech Soul, which is kind of ultimately what did decide the game there. For the side of Dorado Theta, I mean, I think we can say that this was a little bit of a stronger performance than in game number 1. You know, we saw a couple of times them trying to put the Wombo combo together. Prey had a couple of pretty decent bullet times. Did actually end up doing the most damage in the game. Wasn't enough, obviously, but they tried their best. But Dorado really just going completely winless 6 weeks in a row. That is a tough way to go out.
Yeah, definitely not something I wish on any team. Hopefully we'll see, most of these names are just kind of mainstays, I believe, in the scene. So we'll probably see that most of this Dorado team in one way or another in certain times, but pretty exciting for Conduit Allegation. They're going to be making it to playoffs, which are starting next week, everybody. So best of 5 fearless drafts coming out. Something you're always excited to see as a league fan. Get to see the really wacky and weird stuff hopefully coming out in these series. Praying we'll see someone pull off something absolutely crazy like the Anivia support or something like that. Just always really interesting stuff comes out later in these drafts. You get to see those ADCs that aren't the S tier anymore. Can maybe see Kog'Maw like we did at first stand from G2. Hansama bringing it out. If a team picks it, they have my vote to win. Doesn't matter what the rest of their team is. Keep that in mind, guys.
Didn't we see it at one point earlier this season? The Kog'Maw?
We saw Kog'Maw.
The Krogmaws, yeah. We just tried to spectate them last week. Maybe the Kog'Maw was on one of our other casts, Storm.
Yeah. We did. Yeah.
Okay. Well, either way, it's been a very, very cool regular season here. I love this whole qualification stage. Really has some nice stakes here the last couple of weeks of the regular season. There was a really, really kind of fun twist on the standard format. So that was really cool. And like you said, yeah, really excited to get into some best of 5. It's going to be really, really awesome in the playoffs as well. I believe we've just got kind of like a single elimination bracket situation. So that'll be really exciting. High stakes, of course. Conduit, Allegation beaters here, I assume as they just kind of squeaked into playoffs, they have a very low seed. They're going to have a really difficult first round matchup. But again, feels like they're really peaking at the right time here. This was a convincing victory tonight. They narrowly lost out against Dorado Theta in week number 1. That was a 2-1 series, but 2-0, both games sub 30 minutes tonight. Very clean stuff from CAB. So excited to see if they're going to be able to put up a fight in that quarterfinal next week as well. Storm, do you have anything else tonight? Anything else you wanted to mention?
I am good. I think that was a fantastic series from them as well. I think there should be a lot of great playoff games in the future. Be excited to see what matchup from the playoffs we'll get to see if we're going to be going for one of these hopefully big upsets from a 1v8 or if we're going to go for a 4v5. Have to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys next week for some awesome playoff action.
Yeah, don't forget, tomorrow night we've got the AML. It looks like that's going to be Stasis Gaming Mirage versus Akuma Kimche Jikes. Hopefully I didn't butcher that pronunciation too badly, but be sure to tune in for that one tomorrow night, guys. For myself and Storm and Macros and everybody here at Aegis, thanks so much for watching, and we will see you next week for the quarterfinals.
Bro, just use Zen Market.